Hi, Gail. Can you hear me okay? We have a Zoom participant here too.
Hi, Nate.
You
Yes.
hear me okay?
Yep, good.
Thumbs up. Okay, good. Technology, right? All right. There we go. And you can see, okay. Yeah, I think so. Oh. I think that should be good. All right. Is it okay if I take a picture just for like a social media thing? Thanks for coming, everyone. It's such an awesome thing to have a full class. All right. So some of you may be wondering, what's Ayurvedic yoga or Ayurvedic Inspired Yoga? And so Ayurveda is a practice that grew up alongside yoga. It dates back about 3,000 to 4,000 years when the original Vedic text was considered an oral tradition. So a lot of the earlier parts of yoga and Ayurveda were just verbally taught from one leader down to another. And somewhere around 3,000 years ago, Patanjali decided to write the Yoga Sutra and started documenting these people that were extremely healthy and were living, into their hundreds when most people were not. And so Ayurvedic yoga is, I like to call it seasonally appropriate yoga. So you would pick postures depending on the time of year to balance out 3 different doshas. So vata, pitta, and kapha are the 3 different doshas. And dosha literally means that which goes out of balance. And so vata dosha is your movement inside your body, also like your muscles, your nerves, the things in your body that create movement. Pitta dosha is your digestion, how clean your blood is, the energy that, it's kind of along the lines of your energy and blood flow and digestion and all of the energy sources in your body. And Kapha dosha is related to your muscles, your bone structure, the denser parts of your muscles and your joints, and lubricating your tendons and fingers and hands. And so dosha, meaning that which can go out of balance, these 3 different elements inside your body, vata, pitta, and kapha, go out of balance, especially depending on the weather. So this time of year, vata and kapha go out of balance because of the cold in this region. And so today we're going to do postures that create warming sensation in the body, energize the body. And we're also going to do pranayama, breathing exercises that help to energize the mind and body as well. And I'll do a little bit of a meditation component at the end when we go into shavasana. But for starters, I'll say the Gayatri mantra, but together we can say the word of Om, okay? And Om is considered the original sound. It's the sound that was made when the universe came out into creation. And Om starts from the lower tailbone and rides up the front of the spine and up and out the top of the soft palate when you do it. And it kind of looks like the Fibonacci sequence where that spiral comes from. And so the Fibonacci sequence is related to all the different math functions that nature does when it creates things. And so it's all kind of connected. So we'll start today's class with the sound of Om. We'll just come to an exhale. Inhale. Om. Bhuvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodaya. And that is the Gayatri mantra. The Gayatri mantra is one of the first mantras in written text. And it is a calling for the creative force in the universe to illuminate our own body, mind, and intellect. And I like to start class with that. We're going to start off by doing 2 different breathing pranayama exercises. We're going to do nadishodhana and kapalabathi. Nadishodhana is channel clearing breath. So a nadi is an energy channel throughout the body. And the 2 main ones come through your left and right nostril. And they're referred to as Ida and Pingala, the masculine and feminine tendencies in the body. And the hand posture for it is your pinky and ring finger together with your thumb. And it's basically just nostril restriction. And so I'll show 1 cycle of it, and then we'll do 6 or 7 together, okay? So you exhale fully, and then you block off your right nostril and inhale through your left. You block off your left, pause, and exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. You block off your right and open the left and exhale. And that's 1 full cycle of nadishodhana. And it balances the capillaries and energy that's flowing into your lung space. Normally your body just naturally picks one side that it dominates your breathing between your left and right lung. So by doing nadishodhana and selectively picking which side to inhale from, it's supposed to balance out the energy between both lung sides. And so we'll do 6 to 8 of them. Do them at your own pace. The most important thing to do when doing these breathing exercises is to feel comfortable as you're doing it. Especially the next one we'll do, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's more of an energy building one than an energy balancing one. So we'll do this one to start balancing energy, and we'll go ahead and exhale. And we'll bring our hands up like so, and we'll block our right nostril and inhale through our left. And we'll block our left and exhale through our right. Then we'll inhale through our right. Block our right and exhale through our left. You can usually do like a 3 to 4 count as you're doing it, but find your own pace, and we'll do it 6 to 7 times. Keep going as you go along. You may notice, if you're able to draw your intention inward, that your lungs fill up kind of evenly together, and when you exhale, one will go out sooner than the other. This is kind of intentional, just to build that balance between the 2 lung spaces. And go ahead and do this maybe 2 or 3 more times. Do your last cycle will end on an exhale of your left nostril. When you're through with that, just relax your hands, come back to normal breathing cycle with inside your lungs. Just kind of notice any change you feel from that. It's a great way to calm yourself. It's a great thing to do when you first wake up in the morning or just before laying down for bed. It says in the Vedic text that when both your masculine and feminine energies are balanced, then your main nadi energy channel that runs down your spinal column becomes alivened, and that is referred to as the Kundalini nadi. So we'll continue to do that as you come to other yoga classes. We'll work more on balancing the masculine and feminine. The next thing we're going to do is kapalabathi. So there's a little bit of a setup to this. It's I'll just demonstrate a little bit of it at first, and it's called skull shining breath, and it's used to energize the mind and also just your overall energy system and nervous system. It's a quick, short breath out your nostrils and a passive inhale. So your body's going to naturally be doing the inhale part of it. So when you do this, just focus on the exhale, and I'll demonstrate it a couple times. As you're doing the exhale, your diaphragm's going to pull in just a little. So, and that's your diaphragm that your lungs and your heart ride on right here behind your rib cage. And so I'll just demonstrate maybe 5 or 6 times of it, and then we'll do it together. It's a rhythm breathing practice. And so if you haven't done it before, it can be a little awkward, just trying to get a rhythm. But I would recommend just not to worry about following my rhythm. Find a rhythm that works for you. And more about focusing on the exhale breath and just knowing that your body will naturally do the inhale. So I'll just demonstrate a few times. You want to exhale and inhale about 2/3 of the way. And that is really the long and short of it. You can do it up to 30 times. I've never really been able to do it 30 times. So don't worry about that part of it. We're going to do it in 3 cycles. So there'll be a chance to kind of practice it a few times. And just find your own rhythm with it. Just know that your breath will naturally happen on the inhale. And just focus on, for you, what your own rhythm of being comfortable doing the exhale is, okay? And so anywhere between 1 to 30 times, and we'll do it 3 different times, okay? So you exhale, inhale halfway up, 2/3 up, and then exhale. So let that go for a moment and come back to your normal breath. We'll go ahead and do it 2 more times. Exhale. And if it's uncomfortable for you, just sit and listen to the sound of your breath coming in and out with you. We'll exhale and come to 2/3 inhale. Usually between 15 and maybe 20 times is how much I can do. We'll go ahead and do that one more time. Just let our breath relax for a second though before we start again. When you're comfortable, we'll do one more exhale fully. We'll come to 2/3 inhale. All right, just let that sit for a moment. Notice a change in your energy and your awareness. So the two doshas, pitta the two doshas, vata and kapha, that go out of balance this time of year. It's due to the cold weather, and so your nerves associated with vata become agitated from the cold weather. You trigger a shiver response to keep yourself warm. And your deeper muscles and your bones are affected with that as well, because your nerves and your bones and muscles are uniquely intertwined throughout your entire body. And so it's important to try to balance these two doshas specifically this time of year. Just so you don't get fatigued. This time of year, people can fight fatigue, wanting to stay under the covers when you first wake up in the cold, and just it requires more energy to keep yourself warm this time of year. And so I like to throw in a little bit of some Ayurvedic tips, because Ayurveda is really just a life science. It's not just related to yoga, but there's a lot of practical knowledge with Ayurveda. And so one thing that can be really important is just showering before you eat your food. If you go to eat dinner after you get home from work, shower before you eat. Showering can raise your digestive ability in your intestines and your stomach, and it can help you digest your food more properly. Or if you're a morning shower, shower before eating breakfast. And just that little tip can make a huge difference on how well your body digests your food. If you shower after you eat, you're actually going to start to overheat your body, because your body's already working a lot of energy to digest your food. And unless you're willing to take a cold shower, which most people aren't, taking a hot shower after you eat is going to just kind of overload your body. And so just a little bit of timing difference like that can make a huge difference. And that's what I like about the Ayurvedic lifestyle. It's like a wellness lifestyle, is that it's just a lot of timing stuff. And once you learn the timing to things, it can really make a huge difference. Just little things, changing it like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some warm-up practices before we start the full yoga. And if you need to adjust the way you're seating now, you can either be in Sukhasana, which is easy posture like this, or you can be in Vajrasana, which is the hero pose like this. Either one is fine. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just start by doing a couple warm-up twists as we sit here. So we'll go ahead and once you feel like you're comfortable, adjust your legs, any cramps you might have. It's recommended to just frequently adjust your legs if you're in a seated posture, help the circulation out. And so what we'll do here is, I like to cue breathing. So we'll do inhale and exhale as I do different parts of the posture. So what we'll do to start is we'll go ahead and inhale, and we'll bring our arms up overhead. We'll exhale and come down to the left here. And left or right doesn't matter, as long as you can keep track for yourself. And we'll inhale, we'll bring our arms up overhead again. We'll exhale down to the right. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down to the left. As far as turning back, you can go ahead and reach back if you can, if you want. Just going halfway is enough, or even just a quarter of the way is fine. We'll inhale, we'll come back up. Exhale and twist as much as is comfortable for you to the right. We'll inhale, we'll come up overhead. Now, as you're here, feel your two sits bones, your two bones in your glutes that root you down, and we'll raise our crown up away from those sits bones. We'll exhale, we'll come down to the left. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale down to the right. Inhale, arms up. Okay, let that go for a second. The next one, you just hold your hands like so, and we'll take our thumbs and we'll place them right on the ends of our collarbones. There's a little divot between your shoulder muscle and your collarbone. Approximately is fine as well. And what we're going to do here is we're going to inhale to the left and exhale to the right. And any amount that you can twist here, which is comfortable, is okay. So inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. And if that's uncomfortable, you can simply do the turns without holding your hands up. We'll go ahead and inhale to the left, exhale right. We'll do this 3-4 more times. Go at your own pace. Inhaling to the left, exhaling to the right. When you're done your last cycle, but you feel like you've gotten enough from it, just go ahead and release that. And we're going to come down into child's pose to continue a little bit more of our warm-up here. So in Vajrasana, which is hero pose, you can go ahead and stretch for a moment. If you've brought in a blanket, it's a great idea to use that for your knees if that's something you're comfortable with. Some people like the blanket, some don't. And we'll just go ahead and inhale up. We'll exhale down into Balasana, child's pose. And if you can, we'll extend our hands out in front of us here. If you need to keep your hands back by your shoulders or back behind you and rest your forehead down, that's totally fine. But if you can, let's extend our arms out in front of us. And you'll notice compression in your lungs and your front body. Think about breathing into your back body here. It can also help to cue your breath coming through your navel region. And a breath to do while you're doing yoga is called Ujjayi breath or ocean breath. And Ujjayi breath is like fogging a mirror, but with your mouth closed. And you can hear the waves of the ocean on your inhale and exhale. It sounds like the tide rolling in and out. So we'll just sit here in Balasana for a moment and try to listen to our breath. Slow, even pace. If you can bring in a count with your breath. Maybe you can do 3 seconds inhale, pause, 3 seconds exhale. Maybe you can do 4 or 5 seconds. Inhale, Pause, exhale, and just go ahead and tune into your breath here for a moment. And on your next inhale, we'll go ahead and sit up back into Vajrasana. We'll do an inhale with our arms up overhead. We'll exhale down and come into Sphinx posture. You place your forearms down and extend your legs out behind you. And the important part here, and I'll try to show everyone here, is when you're laying in Sphinx, your elbow should be slightly forward of your shoulder here. You don't want to have it behind your shoulder. You'd like to have it a little bit, your elbow and your forearm a little bit in front of your shoulder here, okay? And when we are in Sphinx, you can place your forearms down, or you can even tense your fingers up like this if there's a little bit of tension. Some people have tension in their forearms in this position. So I just want to make sure that everyone's seeing me okay, and it looks like elbows are good. And what we're going to do here is we're going to just try to release our neck tension here a little bit. And so the contained body principle of Embody Yoga, which is the school of yoga I'm from, is that your hands go to your tailbone for one vector of your energy, and your feet go all the way up to your crown. And it kind of looks like the Star of David, those two overlapping triangles. And so when we're in this position, you can press down into your hands a little bit and into your shoulders and feel back to your tailbone. And you can gently press your feet, the tops of your feet and the tops of your thighs into the mat and feel that relation all the way up to the crown of your skull. And what we'll do once our shoulders are comfortable and our forearms are comfortable, we'll go ahead and just gently release our head down between our shoulders here for a moment. And that breath we were working on in child's pose, we'll go ahead and bring that Ujjayi breath back in. The sound of the ocean, like we're fogging a mirror with our breath, our mouth closed here. And we'll do this for maybe 3 or 4 breaths. If you ever need to release Sphinx, you can come down into what's called Gator, which is just your hands on top of each other and your head on your forehead on the back of your hands. I just want to make sure everyone can see that. If you ever get uncomfortable in Sphinx, you can just come down into Gator, which is like this, and do the same exact breathing practice here. That's just that Sphinx is uncomfortable for you. And so by being in this position, it actually isolates your shoulders and your neck and your head here. And your head doesn't get much of a rest. Your head is usually in relation to all the rest of the tension in your body. And so a lot of people develop neck strain, especially with the amount of time we've all been spending screen time. You can definitely get a lot of tension in your neck. So on an inhale, we'll try to just gently, as much as you can, we'll bring our head up and look over our left shoulder. This is a little awkward if you're not used to it, but we'll just come up as much as comfortable. I don't want you to feel like you have to strain to get any distance out of it. It's more just releasing certain muscle groups here. And we'll exhale and we'll come back down to center. We'll inhale and come up gently over to our right shoulder. Then we'll come back down into center here. We'll just do a few more breaths. Now go ahead and we'll bring our hands back to where underneath our shoulders here, like so. I want to show everyone here. And we'll come up into cobra. So on an inhale, we'll come up into cobra here. Or if up dog is in your practice, up dog is fine. Then we'll exhale and we'll come back down. We'll inhale and come up into cobra again. Exhale. We'll inhale and come up one more time into it. And exhale. From here, place your hands and forearms out in front of you and push back. And this is called extended puppy. It's a little bit like child's pose, except for more of your tail is up in the air instead. And so extend your hands out in front of you. It's supposed to be a gentle back bend. If you feel uncomfortable in this position, you can stay in child's posture. If you can hold this posture for a few moments, you'll actually get your lungs to soften up a little bit by inverting a gentle inversion here. This is great to release some of your upper back and your back muscles. Remember to keep your breath going here. Ujjayi breath. We'll do that for 2-3 more breaths. From here, we're going to go into Adho Mukha Svanasana, which is downward facing dog. So on your next exhale, we'll come back up into downward facing dog. If you need to, you can actually do this off your forearms here. Or we can come back up. And then if you need to, you can bring your knees down and then step up to the top of your mat. Or you can step up to the top of your mat from down dog. So we'll go ahead and you can place your knees down in down dog. Come up like this into Vajrasana. And then step up into the top of the mat. Or you can step straight from down dog to the top of your mat. I try not to have anyone feel like they have to follow a specific way of doing yoga, but there's a way to do things safely. And so I try to present the different ways of getting from postures as we're going through it. So, and if there's ever a point where you feel a little uncomfortable getting in and out of a posture, just speak up and I can maybe help you figure out an alternative way to get in and out of it, okay? So from Tadasana, which is mountain pose, we'll root ourselves here with our toes by picking our toes up off the ground. And here you can just feel a little bit of a release in your knees and your thighs. Feel that there's 3 different points of pressure on each foot. Your big toe, your pinky toe, and your heel are going to be what it means to root yourself from a standing position. You can keep your feet together or shoulder width apart. Either one is, there's no specific reason you'd have to do feet together or feet shoulder width apart. It's really about a comfort level for you. And so what we're going to do is we're gonna just do a couple of half sun salutations. This will be like more of the heating and energy building stuff. And so for the next couple of series, I'll demonstrate how to do it and you can follow along as I demonstrate. And then when we go to do 2 or 3 repetitions of it, feel free to do that part at your own pace, okay? Don't feel like you have to, this isn't a type of yoga class where everyone has to keep up with the same pace or you're lost. So we'll just go ahead and we'll do rooting with our feet. We'll inhale and we'll come up arms overhead. And we'll exhale, we'll come down here. And it's okay to bend your knees a little bit. If your chest and your rib cage can rest on your front thighs, that's more important than keeping your legs straight. So you want to be able to rest your upper body against your thighs. And then we'll inhale halfway up. And our crown reaches away from our tail here, okay? Hands on thighs, crown reaches away from tail. Just let your neck relax. Then we'll exhale down, Uttasana. Inhale, and we'll come all the way up. Arms overhead on an inhale. And then we'll exhale into Anjali Mudra or Pranamasana, prayer position. And that's a half sun salutation. We're gonna do 2 or 3 more of those, okay? So we'll let our arms go and we'll inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale down, Uttasana. We'll inhale halfway up. Ardha Uttasana, half fold. Exhale down. We'll inhale, arms come all the way up. And exhale, prayer position, Pranamasana. Let's go ahead and do that 2 more times at your own pace, okay? Inhaling as you come up. Exhaling as we go down. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale. Inhale all the way back up as we come up. And exhale. Go ahead and do this one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we'll come down. Inhale halfway up. We'll exhale down. We'll inhale, we'll come all the way up here. Exhale. And that is our half sun salutation. So we're going to go ahead and do a full sun salutation. And this will probably be the more vigorous part of the practice. I'll try and cue very slowly the first time through it, just as far as the lunges go, because coming in and out of lunges can just be a little bit of like a mind play. So I'll just demonstrate it once. If sun salutation is already in your practice, you can follow along if you want. So you just want to inhale like we were before. Exhale down. We'll inhale halfway up. And here is where you would lift up your right heel and step back while slightly turning out your foot. And then we come down into a lunge, okay? And then you inhale, arms up overhead. You exhale down. Now this part is where people are like, what? So you just want to be able to step your foot back. That's really the mind trick to it. It's just a step back. There's nothing fancy there. And then you plant your feet into up dog, okay? And then you exhale down and you come down flat. And then you come back up into up dog with an inhale. or cobra, or even sphinx. And then you exhale and push back into a downward facing dog here. There you go. You guys are doing good. And if you just simply want to stay down into cat, you can here. But if you're in down dog, you want to bring one knee down, your opposite knee that you did at the beginning, and we'll bring our other foot forward. We'll inhale up. We'll exhale down. Plant your hands here and then just push off with your back foot and step forward. And there you go. Exhale down. Inhale halfway. Exhale down again. Inhale all the way up. And that's one sun salutation, okay? It's a very energy building posture. It incorporates nearly all the different types of bends and twists you can do. And it kind of encapsulates all the different types of body positions you can find in yoga. Getting out of the lunges between down dog and up dog can be a little bit of where the confusing part was, but was everyone able to follow that okay? Okay. It takes a little bit of repetition, and if there's ever a question on like foot placement or how to get out of it more comfortably, I'm going to try to pay attention to as we're doing it and see if there's anything I can help with as we're doing it. So we'll go ahead and do 2 more of these, okay? We'll exhale with our feet rooted. Inhale all the way up overhead. We'll exhale down into Uttanasana. We'll inhale halfway up. We'll exhale halfway down again. And this time we'll pick our left foot up off the ground and we'll step that back and down. And that starts our lunge. And then we can inhale up overhead here. Then we exhale down. And we'll bring our right foot back as we plant our hands. That's upward facing dog. We'll come down into cobra here. On an inhale, we come up. We exhale, we come down and plant our hands and push back into downward facing dog here. And if you need to stay on your forearms or need to push back into child's pose, that's totally fine. So from down dog, we're going to want to bring our left knee down and we'll step our right foot forward here. Yep. And then we're going to inhale and come up. We'll exhale down and plant our hands on either side of our front foot. We'll straighten and plant our back leg and step forward. Great job. We'll exhale and we'll fold down. We'll inhale, come all the way up overhead, and we'll exhale down. That's Surya Namaskar, second cycle. Did that feel a little better for everyone that time? Okay, good. What's interesting about this posture is the geometry of your body kind of allows it all to happen, even though maybe you don't think it can. Because I know the first couple of times I did, I'm like, this is not going to be possible. Because I'm like all arms and legs, and believe it or not, I was never very coordinated, but yoga can really help to bring in coordination and balance. So we'll go ahead and do Surya Namaskar one more time. We'll root with our feet here. We'll inhale, we'll bring our arms up overhead. We'll exhale and come down. We'll inhale halfway up, hands come to thighs. We'll exhale down, and this time we're going to bring our right foot back and place our knee down. And we'll inhale, arms come up overhead. We'll exhale down, plant our hands and bring our left foot back as we come up into downward facing dog. We'll exhale, come down. Then we'll inhale up into up dog or cobra. And then we'll push from our hands and forearms back to our tail and come up into downward facing dog again. And this time we're going to bring our left knee down and we'll swing our right leg forward. And we'll inhale, come up, arms overhead. We'll exhale down, plant our hands, extend our back foot, and then step forward. We'll exhale down into Uttasana. We'll inhale, arms come all the way up overhead. And we'll exhale back to Anjali Mudra or Pranayama. So next we'll go into Warrior 1 and 2. The warrior position is a great way to start introducing standing twists. We'll go into some more full body twists in later practices, but for now we'll just get comfortable with some of the fundamentals of it. So you get into Warrior 1 a lot of different ways, but we're going to do it through Utkatasana, which is fierce position. And so for that, you start in Tadasana, get your feet nice and rooted again. And then it's kind of like sitting into a chair, like you're going to sit into a chair. So we'll inhale and we'll bring our arms up as we sit. And if your arms coming up is like, no, please don't do that, you can hold yourself into prayer position here like this, okay? The arms up overhead does kind of open up more space in your back body for your lungs to breathe here. We'll go ahead and do a couple breaths here. And then this relies on the support precedes actions principle. So you want to make sure your feet are rooted here, and we'll exhale and step our right leg back. Any amount's fine. The more important part here about feet placement is that your knee and your ankle track over each other here. And your back foot is kind of perpendicular with your heel. So that can really help your balance out. If you can even just get your heel even with your front heel, that's great. If you can get the center of your foot even with your front foot, that'll help your balance even more. But just try not to be too far out here. You'll really open your hips up too much, or too far back. That'll really throw your balance off. So it's kind of a range between your back heel and the center and your front heel. So in Warrior 1, you want to try to track your hips forward. Just a slight opening to the right side, if that's where you're set up at, is fine. And we'll just sit down a little bit into our lunge here, and we'll inhale, arms come up overhead. This is Warrior 1. This is the Virabhadrasana. It goes back to an ancient warrior that was preparing for battle. And he did these yoga poses to build his concentration. This is his planning stage. As you exhale, you pivot your back foot out perpendicular. You open up your front body more here. I'll do it opposite here. You want to pivot your back foot a little bit here. Not quite 90 degrees, but like an 80-degree maybe. Open your hips up a little bit, and then we'll sit down into the lunge here. And your front foot still wants to track a little bit, even with your knee here. You don't want to be way far ahead or way far back here. Kind of over your knee here is great, okay? I have a right arm injury, so I almost never straighten it out, just so you know. And we'll go ahead and hold this for another 2 to 3 breaths here, and pick a point in your view to focus on that can help your balance here. This is Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. This is the warrior in action. What we're going to want to do here to come out of this is we'll pivot our back foot and we'll step forward in that motion. Great. And we'll go ahead and do the other side here. We'll inhale with our arms come up overhead and sit back into Utkatasana, fierce posture. Sometimes it's called lightning bolt. And if you want to hold your hands in prayer, that's fine. And what we'll do here is on our next exhale, we'll step our left foot back and slightly pivot it open. And your feet actually have 2 plates. You have your big toe and your second toe right on a plate above your bottom 3 toes. And so this position actually slowly kind of pulls your feet just gently apart and can help with circulation in your feet here. So what you can do is you can plant your big toe ball and kind of reach out and extend your back toe. Plant this side of your foot and just kind of gently extend your outside edge of your foot. We'll inhale and we'll come up overhead. And then we'll exhale. As we exhale, we'll pivot our back foot, open our hips up a little, and we'll come down into Warrior 2. What was your name? You can bring your foot forward just a little bit. That'll help you out there. It's important to just, if you need to adjust, you can just gently kind of walk your foot back or forward if you need to. You want to track your knee over your ankle here. We'll do 2 or 3 breaths here. Pick a focal point in front of you. And on your next exhale, we'll pivot our back foot facing forward, and we'll use that to step forward. Great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come into tree position. So if you need to use the wall to assist you, you can. We'll come up into tree, but there's a couple ways to get into tree position, and there's a couple ways to hold the posture as you're doing it. If this is your tree, that's totally fine. Your trees can be any shape or size, but you just don't want to place your foot on your knee, okay? That's going to cause unneeded strain for you. So a couple different positions for a tree are against your ankle, your calf, or your inner thigh here. This used to be one of my easiest positions, and then I had a dislocated knee years ago, and it's been a little different for me since. If you have knee injuries, I recommend that you try starting off with the wall to help balance if you need to. But what we're going to do to come into it is we're going to root ourselves again into Tadasana like this. And there's a little bit of a yield down when you come into tree, so root yourself down. We're going to keep our left foot planted in this position, and then we're going to come up with our other foot into tree. Okay, and you can come up any amount here. Pick a focal point in front of your vision to focus on, and that can really help to keep your balance here. And this is a concentration pose as well as a balance pose. So if you're not feeling it and it's hard to concentrate, just go with baby steps here. If you need to help by having the wall with you, that's fine. And when you feel like you've gotten what you want out of it, you can go ahead and release and come back down. To set up for the other side, we'll go ahead do the same process. Exhale, we'll root down a little bit. We'll leave the right leg rooted and we'll rise up with our left leg here. And pick a focal point. A few breaths here as we concentrate in our posture. If you have to come out of it, just reset. We'll exhale. Get your right foot rooted. We'll come back up. And that's kind of the process of getting better with this balance. Follow the same steps each time to come back into it. And you'll get used to rooting yourself before you rise up with yourself. Okay, we'll just do that one more time on each side. We'll root down by exhaling. We'll plant with our left foot here. We'll inhale, we'll come up. We'll pick a focal point. And we'll go ahead and exhale and come back down out of it. The tree shuffle, we call that. It's totally normal. We'll go ahead and we'll exhale and we'll root our right side down here. And then we'll inhale and bring up our left side. Pick a focal point to focus on here. This is actually, all of this balance comes out of your amygdala. If your amygdala, that little kidney bean that releases your hormones in your brain, if it's out of whack, balance-wise, that's when you start to teeter. So you're really trying to pick a focal point because it tracks your amygdala and kind of helps the balance a little bit there. And you can exhale and we'll go ahead and release that. And balancing can be uncomfortable for people at first if it's not something you routinely practice. But it's good to be able to get used to that because it really encompasses a whole body concentration. You're really focusing on your whole body, so it can be really good for even like a meditative process. All right, and so I write all my stuff down because Sanskrit, yes, it's like learning a foreign language, but the sounds of Sanskrit really like made me feel tongue-tied. So I can use all these English derivatives like tree and fierce posture and bound angle posture. But I really write down all this stuff, not only as a way for you guys to take a picture of the lesson if you want to, but to be able to learn to say some of the original Sanskrit language terminology. Like Supta Baddha Konasana, we're going to come down into reclined bound angle posture. And so what that entitles is come down comfortably to your mat here, whichever way is suitable for you. And what you want to do is start off in Dandasana, which is staff position here. And if you feel a little tension in the back of your thighs, you can lift up your legs just a little bit here. That can help release some tension in your back legs. And we'll start by bringing our right foot in. You don't have to feel like you need to wrench it towards your pelvis. Even if you come back to just like even with your knee, that's fine. And bring in your other foot. Some people call this butterfly posture. It's technically referred to as bound angle posture. And there's a couple of variations we can do from here, but I just want you to get comfortable with being in this posture. And one of the terms of embodied yoga is sthira sukham asanam, which is sweet and steady posture. And so sweet and steady posture is just listening to your body, finding out where your body's comfortable within the postures that you're doing, and not overstraining, because the moment you start feeling like you're overstraining, your body's going to be out of balance. Usually your body's trying to tell you something when it's not feeling right. And Sthira Sukhamasana is the idea of just listening to your body and figuring out what that sweet and steadiness is, what feels good to you and what can you sustain as you're doing it. And so in bound angle posture, you can have your feet out in front of you. You can bring them in close to your pelvis. You can bring them about midway. And that's about just feeling what's comfortable for you within your hips, within your legs, kind of being in tune with what is that sweet and steady posture for you, okay? So as we're here, we'll just gently press our feet towards each other. We'll place our hands, palms up over our knees. And hands up is more of a connection to the divine. Hands down is more of a connection to the earth. You can do one of each if you feel like balancing both. And what we'll do here is we'll just do a couple breaths and we'll root our tailbone down. We'll root our sits bones down. We'll just kind of wobble a little bit and make sure our sits bones are nice and grounded here. And we'll rise our crown out of our hips and out of our tailbone. So those two opposing forces are always, they work together, but they're always kind of drawn apart, your tailbone and your crown. We'll just sit here for a few moments. And we'll do 2 breaths. We'll do a full exhale. Inhale. And if you ever need to come out, you can just straighten your legs back out into Dandasana. We'll do 1 more breath, full exhale. Full inhale. Okay, we'll just let that go. We'll bring our legs out into Dandasana again. And we're going to come down into wind relieving posture, Pavana Mutasana. So we'll just lay down in Shavasana, our corpse posture. And what we're going to do here is on an inhale, we'll bring both knees up over onto our chest here like so. Okay. And you can hold your hands up over the tops of your knees, or you can hold them behind your thighs here. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and come up into that. And if you want to just stay in Shavasana because that's feeling good for you, feel free. But if you'd like to join, and this is called wind relieving posture. It's kind of like a reverse child's pose. And so what we'll do here is we'll just hug our knees and hug our thighs gently towards our chest. We'll do 2 or 3 breaths here, feeling our back body and our muscles along our spine feel a little bit of compression here. And a lot of yoga, especially as you're beginning or into an intermediate stage, is just waking up your body. So there may be parts of your muscles and nerves that haven't done these kind of things before, or it's been a while. And so your body can shut off sensory to parts of your body. So as you're in this posture, just notice the sensation all up and down your lungs, along your muscles, along your spine. And on an exhale, we'll go ahead and we'll straighten our right leg out. and bring that down to the mat. Or if you want to plant your foot and keep your knee up in the air, that's fine. So you can keep your knee up or straighten it, depending on what's more comfortable for you. You just do 2 or 3 breaths here, and then we'll switch. On your next inhale, we'll bring our right knee up. And then on our next exhale, we'll extend our left leg down. If you want to keep your left foot planted and knee in the air, that's fine. Or you can bring your left leg all the way down, depending on what's more comfortable for you. As we move into the last 10 minutes of our class today, we'll go ahead and we'll bring our other knee up to our chest here. We'll restart back at the beginning of wind relieving posture. And go ahead and release your arms out straight to your sides, or you can keep your arms bent like a cactus, a fallen cactus here if you want. And what we'll do here is, if you want, you can simply just bring your feet down and your knees in the sky here. Or on an exhale, you can gently twist your lower half gently with ease. Remember Sthira Sukhamasana. If it's not comfortable to come down into a full twist like this, go ahead and keep your knees up straight into center position here. If it is comfortable, you can go ahead and come down to your right. And whatever direction your knees are facing, you can go ahead and turn your head the opposite way. And we'll just gently kind of peer up and away from our shoulder. And this is going to be a full length twist to your spine to bring gentle relief all up and down it. If it's uncomfortable and you need to come back up into your knees facing towards the sky, come out of it at any time. We'll do 2 or 3 more breaths here, depending on what's comfortable for you. And on your next inhale, bring your knees up back to center. On your next exhale, bring your knees down to the opposite side. Or if you need to, just stay in center again. Turn your head opposite the way your knees are pointing and look slightly up. And after 2 or 3 more breaths, whatever is comfortable for you, we'll come back and our knees will come back to center. Take your time getting there. And the last posture is, we're going to go into optional of one of the two. You can stay just like this and start your shavasana early. You can extend your legs out and just come into corpse early. Or you can bring your knees up overhead and your feet up overhead into legs up the wall. And you can literally use the wall to support your legs here if you feel so inclined to do so, or just by holding your legs up over your hips. This is also referred to as waterfall. And that's because the blood coming from your legs is now filling into your torso, bringing extra blood and circulation into your lungs and your heart space. This is considered a cooling and soothing posture, and we do this at the end of the posture to balance out some of those more energetic stuff that we did in the middle. If shoulder stand is in your practice, you can come into shoulder stand to finish it out. Or you can stay here for another 2 to 3 breaths. When you feel like you've gotten enough out of Vipariti Karani, you can go ahead and bring your knees down, your feet plant on the earth again. You can stay like this as we go into Shavasana. If you have a blanket and you'd like to cover up to get yourself even more cozy, you can. We're going to do Shavasana for about 5 minutes. It's just a time to reset all that energy we just brought out in the practice. You can extend your legs. We're just going to let all that breathing and regulating our breath go. This is a time to just let your body acclimate to all the different chemistry we just conducted during our yoga practice. Corpse position, Shavasana, is at the end of every yoga practice as a way of letting go of whatever energy you need to let go of here. It can be a moment of reflection. It can be a moment of not reflecting on anything, if that's what your mind needs. Vata dosha is the air and space element. The reason they're agitated this time of year is because the air is cold and striking against the skin, which can throw your nervous system out of whack. Pitta dosha is fire and water. This is your chemistry in your body, your digestion, your blood flow, your overall vitality and wellness is related to Pitta dosha. We want to balance this so that the fire and water work together in your body. Your digestion, your ability to process and break down unneeded chemicals, and your ability to discern and take in that which your body does need. Kapha dosha is your muscles, your denser bones, your tendons. It's the framework of your body. It's important to balance that this time of year because your body and your muscles go into a little bit of contraction when they're cold. And so we want to keep all 3 of these doshas balanced this time of year. Our immune systems can be stressed. We can be dealing with adverse temperature changes, which can affect our overall well-being and metabolism. And so today's group of postures was to balance all 3 doshas as we learn to make it through not only the physical environment, but the mental environment that we're all going through. With all the uncertainty that can be in the world outside of us, one thing that can be certain is how well you take care of yourself each day. And that's a commitment you make to yourself. Well, we're in about the last minute of class. You can stay in Shavasana if you'd like, or you can come up to a seated position gently. when the timing is right for you. I'm going to say the Gayatri mantra as we close out. Om Bhur Bhuvasva Tat Sabator